We have 10 new residents to introduce today. One is without a spouse, but she will represent both of them. So let me introduce, my name is Pam Holden, by the way, and I'm in a cottage. I've been here about 2.5 years, just shy of 2.5 years. Love it. Okay, Cole, it's all yours.
All right, I'll keep that. Okay. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Welcome Coffee. We have a nice group of folks that we're going to be introducing today, and our first one is Karen Paul. Make sure I'm on here. All right, Karen, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. All right, now the questions begin.
Okay.
Karen, when did you move to Friendship Village?
December 20th.
December 20th, so a little Christmas present to yourself,
Pretty much.
pretty much.
That's right.
And where did you move into at Friendship Village?
Cottage 56.
Cottage 56. How's it treating you?
Oh, I love it.
Did you make a lot of changes to it?
I'm afraid I did.
Did you get it situated just right for you?
Yeah.
Are you all moved in?
Yes, I am. Everything's organized.
Wow, that is very impressive. You sound a little bit like somebody else I know here. You are a second generation resident, is that true?
Yes, I am.
And who is your mother?
Francis Curtis.
Very nice, very nice. Francis is well known around these parts. Now, can you walk as quickly as your mother?
Faster.
You can walk faster?
Yes, I can walk
Well, then I
faster.
want to see that. I want to see. I don't know that we could see that. All right. So, how far did you move from to come join us here at Friendship Village?
I came here from Bozeman, Montana.
Bozeman, Montana. Now, I've heard that called God's country. Is that true?
It is beautiful.
It
I
is.
I left my husband behind, take care of his mother, and hopefully eventually
Yep.
get him down here.
That would be nice. I had a
Yeah.
chance to meet him. He's a lovely fella. Now, is he originally from Bozeman, Montana then?
He's originally from Great Falls.
I see.
So, so.
Mom lives pretty close by.
And yeah, and he grew up there.
I see.
So
Good deal. Now, any any children for you?
I have one son, just turned 38, and gonna finally have my first grandchild.
Well, congratulations.
Finally.
And now, where does your son live?
He and his wife live in San Francisco.
Ah, right on. Any plans to go out and travel and to visit them?
We've been out there a few times
Have you?
already. Yeah,
What do you think of San Fran?
it's a little busy and crowded.
Yeah, it's
And
happening.
Hard to find a parking place.
Yeah. Yeah, then if you do find them, they tend to be expensive.
Very expensive.
And on a hill.
Yes,
So you got to turn your wheels the right way. All right, so let's see. What did you do as a career?
In nursing.
I see.
And retired a couple years ago after 40-plus years in nursing.
Where did you go to school for nursing?
Montana State.
Very
in
good.
Bozeman.
Very good. Now, when you weren't nursing, what did you like to do for fun? And what do you like to do for fun now?
Well, it's just been the last few years I've been able to do other things. I'm a big reader. I like to sew. Right now, I've already done dominoes. I've gone on a hike, and I'm going to learn the library this afternoon, volunteering.
Look
so
at you, you're getting involved already. Good. Now, I
It's a
saw,
hard act to follow.
she is a tough act to follow, but hey, we're good. Now, I saw you walking a dog the other day. Tell us a little bit about I don't know if it's a male or a female.
Lily is a rescue dog, and my son called me a couple years ago and said we're at the shelter getting training for our dogs, and there's this little three-legged dog that just had her leg taken off, and you need to adopt her. So I did.
Yeah,
I flew out and got her.
nicely done. She gets around pretty impressively.
She does.
That's really cool.
She does.
Now, any first impressions of Friendship Village?
I don't have first impressions.
I
I've been
know,
coming back
yeah.
for years and years.
Yep.
It's extremely friendly. I feel very welcome, and I love being here.
Good. Well, we love
So-
the fact that you are here.
Thank you.
All right, anything I didn't ask you that you might want to share to get to know you better?
I just love meeting people
Good.
and being active.
you're in the right spot.
Very active.
Now, that wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, was it?
That's because I'm done.
Right on. Congratulations. So everybody, please welcome Karen Paul to Friendship Village. All right, next we have David and Brenda Schatzel, and I see them, and they're coming my way. All right. Good morning to the Schatzels.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, good morning. All right, so who's going to be our primary spokesperson this? David was first to the punch. Congratulations. Brenda, when did you folks move to the village?
Well, we are only sort of half here right now.
Got 1 foot in.
1 foot in, we are in, what is,
246
Yeah.
alcove, just
Apart.
waiting
Got it.
for
waiting.
a bigger unit.
Absolutely.
On a waiting list.
Yep,
Yeah.
fair enough. So you're in, that's all that matters in apartment A246. And now where's the other foot if you have 1 foot here?
The other foot is in Tempe,
I see.
just about a mile south of ASU.
Very
And,
nice.
So we are sort of living there and kind of half living here and, a quarter living here and 3/4 living there.
Fair enough. Dip your toe slowly.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. Now, how long have you lived in Tempe?
So, well, 40 years?
40 years,
Yeah.
1979, we came the second time. First time in 1961.
Okay.
We were here for 3 years, and then we went Air Force 20 years and came back in 79.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm guessing you're not originally from Arizona?
From Ohio originally.
Hey, that's where I'm from.
Yeah, Akron, Ohio.
Akron, a little further north than me. David?
Same, yeah. We both met at the newspaper there, the Akron Beacon Journal.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've got friends that still live in the Cleveland area and
right.
share
yeah.
Cleveland Browns and sports pages, and
Right.
I see the Akron Beacon Journal all the time.
And then the high school I went to is known for its graduate 50 years later, LeBron James.
Oh, really? You went to the same high school as LeBron? What is the name of that high school?
St. Vincent High School.
Very nice. Now, Brenda, did you go to St. Vincent as well?
I did not. I went to Manchester High School. I lived out on the Turkey Foot Lake, in the Turkey Foot Lake area.
Yep.
And so I was a little further away than, than he was to
Good.
the center of activity in Akron. But,
Fair enough.
yeah.
David, what did you do for a living?
Well, my first career was Air Force, 20 years, and then I retired and worked at ASU in the College of Architecture, teaching.
Very
Yeah.
good. Brenda, what did you do for a living?
Well, I was a mom for a lot of that time.
That's a full-time job.
Yes, it was with 4 daughters. But I also have a degree in counseling.
Wow.
And so I worked as a counselor, working with grief and working with families and working down at the state prison in Florence and just
Very cool.
all different places.
Very good.
And then went to ASU to work as an advisor there, an academic advisor.
Very nice. Now, I heard 4 daughters. How many of them live here locally?
One.
I see. Where do the other 3 live?
One lives in Dallas,
Okay,
one lives in Portland,
very good.
one lives in Olympia.
Washington,
Yeah,
very good. So they are
Yeah.
spread out.
yes, they are.
Keep
And
you
the
folks
other one
busy
lives
on the
in-
travel.
I've forgotten one, well, Terry, yeah.
Lives here
So,
locally.
Yeah.
All right, now has she been over to take a look at what you got going on?
Not yet.
Probably not. If you're living in the alcove, there's just
Right.
probably just,
Not much,
No.
no, not
she'll
much
be
to
ready
show
for
off.
the big move.
That's right.
Good deal,
That's
good deal.
right.
Now, Brenda, what do you like to do for fun when you weren't raising 4 daughters and counseling?
Did that leave any time?
No.
No.
Probably not.
Okay. I have always enjoyed reading, I've always enjoyed volunteering, enjoyed cooking. When he was in the Air Force, I did a lot of preparation of meals and so forth, did a lot of parties and so forth.
That's
so
gotta be fun.
Enjoyed doing
I
that.
bet so. David, what do you like to do for fun?
I play golf on Tuesday morning. I got a lot of photographs, thousands that I'm trying to organize, and video history interviewing with the ASU Retirees Association. We've done about 125 interviews that are now available online.
Careful, I might give you this job.
But I should say, she didn't mention we've got 18 grandchildren.
I was guessing, and
That takes some
18,
time.
And 5 grades.
and you survived Christmas.
We did.
Woo!
That's because they live so far away.
Yeah.
The daughter who's here, she and her husband only have 2 children,
Oh,
so all of the others live. But we have had grandchildren and their spouses who have been coming to visit us ever since then.
Yep.
About every 2 weeks, we've had a grandson and wife
Good
that
deal.
have been here.
That's cool.
So, it's lovely.
yeah, exactly. It is lovely. All right. So, anything I haven't asked you, you might want to share to get to know you better.
I can't think of anything to say in that. Let's see, what else? I think we've traveled a lot, but Brenda's condition now precludes that we go flying. We've
Versus
gone-
driving.
Yeah, so we're local drivers.
I love to travel, used to really love to travel, and good thing, being an Air Force wife. right?
Yes.
Yes. What, 17 homes in,
17 moves in 20 years.
yeah.
Woo. I've been told that builds character.
Well, you know, it must, because none of our girls seem to have been scarred by it, and they all looked forward to the next move. With one particular move, they weren't too,
Fair enough. That's probably healthy.
yeah,
Probably
it
healthy.
is.
But, yeah, we had sabbaticals. I think that's the secret to our marriage. Every 7 years, I was gone about a year. So,
Brilliant.
first,
was.
first was Alaska, then Vietnam, then moving here. I came a year before to start teaching. She was in Omaha. And every 7 years, I think you need that break.
I might take that under advisement.
I don't know that I would say that that's something that is a real positive.
Fair enough. It's up for
But,
conversation, huh?
Right, yeah, it sort of gets people's interest, but I wouldn't say I would recommend
Yeah,
it.
you know, the veterans get a lot of credit for being in the service, but it's the wives with children at home when the men are deployed that have it tough.
I couldn't agree more, David. Absolutely. All right, folks, everyone, please welcome David and Brenda Schatzel. All right, next we are going to talk to Philip and Sharon Lentz, and I see them. They're coming my way. Good morning. All right, here we go. Now, who's going to be our primary spokesperson here?
Well, I thought it should have been Philip.
We're going to
I
share
guess
it?
it's me.
All right, well, I got a long arm. I'll get over there and get him.
He'll coach me.
I'll get him. All right, Sharon, when did you folks move into Friendship Village?
In November.
November, very good. And where did you move to? Which home here on our campus?
We're here in a cottage on C239.
C239. And you did substantial work to your cottage.
Yes, well, that was Philip.
Okay.
I,
We took it all the way down to the studs.
I've seen that. I was impressed. Neil brought over your architectural drawings that you had put together, and I remember him being like, "Look at what they're going to do." And
are they crazy?
yeah, it's gorgeous though. Nicely done. Well designed. All right. So now, where did you leave to move in here with us?
Well, our home our first home was in North Mesa.
I see.
About 10 miles from here. And
Now, are you originally from Mesa, Sharon?
no, no.
Where are you from?
I am originally from Millstadt, Illinois. We had a population of 1,400.
That's how much I have in my town.
Oh, well,
How many
see?
stoplights?
Great people. We didn't have a stoplight.
Oh.
We had one flash.
Well, we got you whooped. We
had
got
a
2
flashing
full-fledged stoplights in our town. And Philip, where are you originally from?
All over.
You've been everywhere?
You know, my parents were with the government. We traveled all the time. I was born in Indiana, moved right away to Ohio, moved to Colorado. Grew up mostly there, and for high school went to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And then back to Indiana and Ohio again, and then to St. Louis, California, here, St. Louis, back here. we go
All right.
over.
Philip didn't lie. He's been all over. If you had to pick a favorite spot of all the places you were living as you were growing up, which one is most fond in your memory?
Actually, Arizona's the best.
Good. Well, then you came back to home, and that's good. All right. Now, Sharon, what did you do for a living?
Well, I did a multitude of things. I guess the most significant thing, I co-founded a nonprofit educational foundation for health and mental health professionals and served on the board for 10 years.
Very cool. That is a huge demand, so sounds like you definitely filled a very important void. Philip, how about you as far as career-wise? What did you do for a living?
I started out teaching physics in high school and college, and went to work for McDonnell Douglas, and got a degree in fine art, and didn't make any money in fine art. So
Starving artist?
Starving artist, so I went back to work for Hughes Helicopters. McDonnell Douglas bought Hughes Helicopters. McDonnell Douglas merged with Boeing, and so I have over 30 years of credit with Boeing.
Now, did you ever get a chance to meet with Howard?
Yes,
You did? I
Yes.
figured you did.
yep,
Interesting,
yes,
I bet.
very much so.
I enjoyed that movie, The Aviator. I thought that was very interesting. Now, Sharon, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, we haven't had a lot of it recently. But I enjoy cooking,
Okay.
which is obvious between the two of us.
Me too. Don't trust a skinny chef ever.
That's right. Well, you'll have to come over.
I will. I got
and-
to check out your new home.
And I am looking forward to getting involved in quilting. Well, I thought I wanted to do quilting until I found Richard Peel, who does weaving, and I thought, oh my gosh, that might be my new interest.
That's a Richard Peel
This is
production.
absolutely a Richard Peel, and I absolutely love it.
And I understand someone very famous also wears some of Richard's attire.
Yes, I was shopping at and found these wonderful ones, and I pulled up this one. I said, oh, I've got to buy this for my daughter. And he said, well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has one just like that, or very similar. No, very similar. And I said, what? She's my hero. And he said, and he said, well, she has 5 of mine. So now I.
Now you're a big deal.
Yes.
Look
and
at
so
you.
I gave that to my daughter and said, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has one almost like this.
Philip, what do you like to do for fun?
I build things.
Yes, you do. You do a lot of welding.
I do a lot of welding. I started out in carpentry and woodworking and graduated to shaping concrete. And you'll have to come over and see the place before we sell it.
I will.
But, and then got into welding. And fortunately, Friendship Village made a little space for all the welding equipment. So we're going to start doing
Yeah.
welding here at Friendship Village.
You've been very generous with the wood shop as well as the welding. I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. Now, anything I haven't asked you that you might want to share to get to know you better?
No.
Philip?
Yes. We have a dog that some neighbors called us one night and said, can we come over and visit? It was the same night we signed the contract to move in here, and our minds were blown. And they came over with this little tiny 5.5-pound Yorkie that they had rescued from the reservation.
Yes.
And so we have a little tiny Yorkie called Pixie Dust.
Pixie Dust. Awesome. Everyone, please welcome Philip and Sharon Lentz to Friendship Village. Thank you both very much. All right, we're moving on, and I see Jan Linson. Jan, good morning. Woo. How are you doing today?
Very well, aloha.
Aloha. We share a Hawaii connection. We were having fun at the last happy hour and really enjoyed connecting on multiple levels.
Right, Ohio too.
That's right. We have Ohio and Hawaii in common.
That's
So,
true.
so now, Jan, you're representing
Dave,
yes, David.
Dave, he couldn't be here. He's at the allergist. So
Those are
regrets
important.
that- Yeah, it is. It is.
Now, when did you two move into Friendship Village?
In November also.
Okay.
Yes, and we're in Cottage 21 and remodeling 258. So we're going from the historic district, I understand, to Canal Street.
That's awesome. I like it. I have not heard it put that way, and I'm going to steal that one.
Keep it as your own.
Now, where did you folks move from to come here?
Oh, a really long way. Kyrene and Warner.
That's a long way. That's right in our sweet spot.
Warner Branch, yes.
And now, I know you two had previous experience with David's mother living here.
Right, my mother-in-law, Cecilia Linson. I
Yes.
believe she lived here from 2004 till 2014 and loved it.
Yep.
And I used to come to lunch with her all the time.
Yep.
In fact, I was here during the Banana Wars,
Oh.
if anybody knows about that.
Yes. I was lucky enough to miss the Banana
Banana
Wars.
Wars,
They were
yeah.
just ending as I was arriving. So I have heard good stories about them. And I always remember your mother-in-law as being the one that rode the little three-wheeled red bike.
She did. At 5 o'clock in the morning, she would ride her
Yep.
tricycle. And one Christmas, we went to the Harley Davidson store and we bought her a Born to Ride plate, and we put it on the back of it, right?
That's awesome. Now, where are you originally from?
I am originally from Youngstown, all you Akronites.
Yes. We got Northern Ohio well covered over here.
We do.
Good. And now you spent some time on Maui, correct?
We did. We had a condo on Maui for 10 years, and so we feel like we lived there, and it was lovely.
Yes.
It was lovely.
That's a fun island to go visit.
It is. Very, very small town.
Yes.
It's not very big.
No, it's small town living for sure.
It is.
Now, what did you do for a living, Jan?
Early on, I was a speech pathologist, and I worked with multiply handicapped children for about 7 years, and then moved here to Arizona and stayed home with 3 little boys for about 7 years and wishing I had a job. And then I went back to ASU and I got my master's in elementary ed, and I worked in the Kyrene School District for 25 years in first and second grade.
Right on. That's still when they're nice and cute and friendly and fun.
It's true, I love it.
And then I don't know what happens. Now, when you weren't teaching and raising the 3 boys, what were you doing for fun?
Well, I do like to cook, and I like to read, and I like to exercise, and I like to sew, mostly Halloween costumes for my grandkids.
That's
and
cool.
Draperies for their bedrooms and stuff like that. So,
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Anything I haven't asked you that you might want to share to get to know you better?
I can't think of anything.
All
I
right.
can't think of anything.
Everyone, please welcome Jan Linson to Friendship Village. Thank you, Jan. All right, we're moving right along. We have 2 left to go, and I see Dana Presley. And I'm going to have to ask Dana to please come up here and join me as we get to know her better. All right, Dana, how you doing this morning?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Now, when did you move into Friendship Village?
I moved in November 13.
Ah, very good. And where did you move to?
Cottage C103. I'm neighbors of Aringus.
Hey, you hit the jackpot.
Yeah, I did.
Now, did we charge you any extra to live next to them?
No, I don't live next to them, across the street.
Oh, all right. You're
Yeah.
lucky you're not next to them.
Yeah, no, they were over knocking on my door and I didn't have any boxes unpacked yet. I just had to find 3 sits. It was hard.
Now, where did you move from to come to the village?
Ahwatukee.
Ahwatukee. We've had a lot of Ahwatukeers
Yeah.
move here.
Yeah.
How did you find out about the village?
A number of people, and I go to Presbyterian Church in Tempe, and I swear half of those congregate are from.
We do. We are
Yeah.
well represented. That's for sure.
right, yeah.
Very good. Now, are you originally from Arizona?
Oh, gosh, no.
Where are you from?
Well, I lived the majority of my life in Minnesota, but I did go to 13 different schools.
In Minnesota.
No, around the country.
I
went
see.
to 3 different third grades.
Ooh. Well, that made you well-rounded as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? And so you lived in Minnesota most of the time. It sounds
Yes,
like.
yes,
All right. Very
yeah.
good. And what did you do for an occupation?
Well, I started out just raising my kids, and then I got kind of, I need something else. So I started driving a school bus.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
I bet you could tell some good stories. I can tell some good school bus stories.
Yeah, no. And so then I thought, and I started working for Honeywell.
Right on. I know as
I was a secretary at Honeywell, and then I went into desktop publishing,
wow,
computer graphics.
you've done a little bit of everything
I
then.
have.
I don't know what it is about a school bus, but it makes young kids just lose their minds when they get on it, doesn't it? I remember losing mine a couple times.
It makes the drivers crazy.
We gave them a run for their money, unfortunately.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Probably feel a little bit bad about that, thinking
Oh,
back.
I
I'm
bet
sorry.
not.
No, I do. All right, Dana, now what do you like to do for fun?
I like to read.
Got any good books going right now?
Well, whatever pops up on my Kindle is what I start reading.
Right on. Good deal.
My granddaughter started me on a Kindle because she said, Jeej, my nickname is Jeej because I have 4 great-granddaughters. And so they call me Jeej, not Grandma. Some of them still call me Nana, but not too many. And she said, you need this. You don't need to take 4 and 5 books with you when you go up north.
Just get a Kindle.
Okay. So she started me on it, and I really do like it.
Good. That's cool. And now, and how many children again?
We had 3, and now I have 2.
I see. And do they live here locally or?
One daughter lives here locally. My son lives up in Woodbury, Minnesota.
Very good. Very good. Well, anything I haven't asked you, Dana, that you might want to share to get to know you better?
Nah.
Good? All right.
I'm kind of boring. Don't worry about it.
Everybody, please welcome Dana Presley to Friendship Village. All right. We're winding down. I'm right on time. Last, but certainly not least, is Roger and Doris Tildesley, and I see them sitting right here. If I could ask you to please join me right over here, we'll face the nation. All right. Good morning, Roger. And hello, Doris. Yeah, I think stand here next to Roger and we'll work our way through these questions and get to know you. Roger, you going to be the spokesperson?
I'll try, yes.
All right. Get the mic up there.
Okay, is this right?
They'll yell at us if we
Okay.
don't. All right, you're perfect now. Roger, when did you move into Friendship Village?
December 3,
December 3rd. And where did you move to?
cottage C69.
C69. Are you all moved in?
No.
Doris's poker face here is not a good poker face.
We're slowly moving stuff from our old house in Mesa into our cottage, so we're partly moved in.
Okay, so you moved from Mesa. How far in and around where in Mesa were you?
About 4 miles away to the east. from
Okay.
here. So 15-minute drive, not far.
Again, in our sweet spot. Now, I am guessing you are not originally from Arizona.
I guess I could never pretend that.
No, I wouldn't believe you. Where are you from, Roger?
Manchester, England.
All right, and now Doris, where are you from?
The other side of Manchester, England.
Okay, now how did,
He came from the west side, I came from the east.
I see, and you met in the middle.
No, we met in college.
Oh, okay. Now, where were you going to school?
Oxford.
What were you studying?
Physics.
Very good. Doris, what were you studying?
Physics, but I was a year behind him.
Now, there's got to be a good physics joke. I just don't know it. But your particles collided, and now you're married.
Yes, we married, and we've been married for 49 years nearly.
Ooh, sounds like...
It's getting on.
Yes.
Well, it'll be 50 in...
48 years, yes.
All right. Now, any children?
Yes, we have a son, and a daughter, and our daughter has 2 children, so we have 2 grandchildren.
Are they living here in Arizona?
Yes, our daughter lives in Chandler, and our son lives in Mesa.
Well, lucky you then.
Yes.
A mile away.
About a mile away, good deal. Have they been over to visit?
Yes, they have.
Are they happy with your selection?
Yes, they are.
Good. Now, what did you do for a living, Roger?
I was a semiconductor engineer.
I was guessing that. Doris, what did you do for a living?
Well, I had a kind of mixed. I started off doing physics research into the ultra pure glass for optical fibers, and then I was tempted away to teach physics. So I taught physics for 3 or 4 years, yes, to 11 to 18-year-olds.
That had to be interesting.
It was very interesting. I enjoyed it and would probably have continued had Roger not moved to Scotland, and therefore I had to go with him, and my physics qualifications did not count in Scotland, or my teaching qualifications. But as it was, we wanted to start a family anyway, so we
So
had
it worked. Now,
2
Doris, do you
children.
remember moles in physics?
Yes.
The MOL mole, not the
Yes,
MOLE
yes,
moles.
yes.
I remember my high school physics final exam was we had to calculate how many moles fit into Lake Erie.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Could I just say a lot?
Yeah, that's what I went with. Turns out that's not the right answer.
Darn.
It wasn't what he was looking for. Now, when you folks weren't doing physics work, what were you doing for fun?
I used to like hiking, I like photography, I did a bit of cooking and a bit of gardening.
Very good. Doris?
Well, that was one bit of my, I guess, career I didn't mention, which was I actually took a job at Scottsdale Community College once the kids were old enough not to need me at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked in the senior adult educational program there, and I also formed a group called Musical Mayhem, where we did performances. We did Tom Lehrer, we did Gilbert and Sullivan, we did a whole bunch of stuff like that. Really enjoyed that. And I have been singing most of my life. I've sang with the ASU Choral Union, sang with a choir in Scotland, and
I'm thinking
sang with a choir in Bloomington.
our choir might get their hands on you then.
I'm hoping.
Good.
I'm hoping, if I'm good enough.
Anything I haven't asked you to that you might want to share to get to know you better?
No, I don't think so, but thank you.
All right. Doris?
No, I can't think of anything else. I've mentioned the singing and
All right.
general performing. We did, I guess one thing I might mention, which was in Oxford, we did do performances of concert performances of Gilbert and Sullivan, and we did a performance for the meeting, but because the governor of the local prison was also a member of the meeting, we also did performances in the local prison.
Right on.
Which was very interesting.
It's like Johnny Cash style.
Well, yes, if Johnny Cash ever sang HMS Pinafore or anything like that.
Fair enough. I don't
Yeah.
believe he did.
No, probably not, but yeah.
All right. Everyone, please welcome Roger, and Doris Tildesley. Thank you. All right. Pam, I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to you. Bring the mic. There you go.
Thank you. Can you all hear me if I stand here? I just don't have enough arms. Welcome to all of our new residents. This morning our speaker is Emily Garber, and she's going to be talking about our Touchtown community apps. Everybody knows Emily, but let me give you just a brief introduction. She has her bachelor's and master's degree in healthcare administration from Indiana University, and she's been with Life Care Services since 2012. Not all of them here in Tempe, but she has been back here since 2017 as our Associate Executive Director, and we are so pleased to welcome Emily. Where'd she go?
Good morning, everyone. We're going to learn about some technology here. Yay! I have, that was really unenthusiastic, so I thought I'd help. I have Travis here in case I need to phone a friend. I don't want you guys getting too complicated with your questions, but if you do, he is here. So there's a handout coming your way. I thought we could just go over resident apps. I don't know if everyone is quite familiar with just how helpful of a tool that this is and how much information is located within it. So Pam had the good idea that as I present this, a similar presentation, much more condensed, every month a new resident orientation, that it might be good to do a refresher for those of you who are still new or have been here for a little while or long enough to forget about it. So we can start with how you access community apps. You have a few options. You can be on a desktop computer and just go to residentapps.com. And this is all in your handout, so that's a good thing, so that is coming. Or you can use a tablet or smartphone. You can go to the whatever app store you use for your model of tablet or phone and search for Touchtown Community Apps. And if you see that picture, that's what the app looks like. So that's what you're looking for. It's a free app. So once you either download the app or go to the website, then you get to log in. That's everybody's favorite part, right? Forgotten passwords, complicated login processes. Try to make it simple. It's your first name, last name, and then your password is your birth date. And I always encourage people, if you were born in January to September and any number 0 to 9, just don't forget you need to put that 0. It's an 8-digit password. So that's how you log in. You'll type all that in, click sign in. And once you're in, one of the things I suggest you do is update your profile. And when I go through some of the tiles and the different information within everything, you can see why this comes into play. But that first step, if you want to update your profile, in the top right corner, you can see the picture here. It'll have the outline of a person or possibly your picture. You would click on that and then go, and you can see in the second picture, that's what it looks like. Select My Profile, and it has a variety of different slots for information that you can fill in about yourself, and I'll show you this when I do the demonstration. But it's helpful for others if you have hobbies you want to enter, schools you attended, places you live, just connection points that people might find interesting. I know as staff, we often find it really helpful if there's an email address in there. If you actively check your email, that's a good thing to put in because we often will look and see if there's an email to reach out to folks to make it a little easier to make a contact. So then you would just select Save once you make all your desired changes. And again, I'll show you this in a moment, but this is kind of the layout of once you're in, like I mentioned, that top right has the outline of a person. That's on a desktop or a tablet, the picture on the left. If you're using a phone, it'll look more like the picture on the right. But the idea is that there are lots of tiles and graphics that you can select and go within to access more information. So let me show you. I'm going to go through the whole process here. So I'm going to go to my browser. I'm going to type in residentapps.com. I'm going to log in. Now don't get confused by my login because we do staff a little bit differently. And there are our tiles, as I mentioned. So if you go to this top right picture, mine is my actual photo, like I mentioned. You can then click My Profile, and that's where we were discussing the option for an email address. You can do biography, family, education, hobbies, career, lots of things all about you that you can fill in. And once that's done, like I mentioned, you just select Save. And maybe you don't like your photo, because I believe what we have in there is what we took in marketing one day, and who knows what was going on that day, right? So you can always select this photo or the camera button, and you can upload a picture of your choosing if you'd like. So if you have something maybe you use on Facebook, you could, or on any other platform, you could do that. So we're back to all of our lovely tiles here, as I call them. Just want to cover a few of the highlights because there are many and we'd be here for a very long time. But Channel 1960 is not just for the TV. You can actually, and especially if you miss one slide, then you have to wait for it to come back around, right? So you can actually click through. You can kind of go to the slides that you're specifically looking for. So that's kind of helpful. I'll sometimes come in here and look for the cafe specials if I'm hungry. So that's kind of nice, especially on your phone, because you can have this on the go. So that's a handy thing if you have something very specific you're looking for on Channel 1960. If you're wondering what's happening today, the Village Lifestyle tile is pretty helpful. In fact, today, oh, it doesn't, where did it go? There it is. We all know this event, right? Here we are at Welcome Coffee. It tells you where and when. That's pretty handy. So you can look pretty far forward in here to see what's happening on the go or as you please. Dining services, everyone likes to eat, right? In here you can look for the different hours of operation for our venues. You can find the Open Table Fireside reservation link. If you're looking to make reservations for the Fireside in the future, you can just follow this right on over to Open Table and make those reservations. It has a lot of good information in here, as you can see, just scrolling down the various menus for Courtyard, Fireside, cocktail list, so you can plan your happy hour. It's all there. And you can actually search too. If you just think, oh man, it's towards the bottom, that's too much. Let's see what we have related to Fireside. And then you see it pulls up anything with the word Fireside. So that can help you kind of narrow down if there's a lot of documents there. The Villager, in case you're trying to save the trees or you missed a few issues. I've had a lot of residents tell me they find this helpful when they travel. If you're not here to receive the paper Villager, you can go through and find past issues and read them. You can download them and access them later, so you have a lot of good options there. The resident directory, so we talked about updating your profile. I know I find this extremely helpful and other residents as well. If you say you wonder who your neighbor is and you live in Cottage 27, we can look up and see who lives in Cottage 28, who lives next door to me. So you see how I searched that? Sometimes you have to put in a 0 if it's a 2-digit cottage versus a 3. But you can actually search through for a variety of different fields, essentially. You could search by phone number. You can search by people's first names. So if you met a lovely person named Stephanie, you're trying to remember what her last name is or where she lives, what's her phone number, you can actually read a lot of her information, which is nice, that she has put in her profile. So you can allow your neighbors and the team here to get to know you better by filling in that information. So that's a pretty handy tool. Same with the staff directory, if you're looking for someone in particular, and maybe you don't know even what their name is at all, but you can just look in, say, a department, administration. So who's in administration, and maybe I can narrow it down from there. I often find it helpful because people's pictures are typically in here, so if I can't quite put a name with a face, oh, that's Michael. I know Michael, that kind of thing. And we also have the ability to contact people. So if you see, here's my profile, you have the ability to just click on my email address or click Contact Me, and you can fill out a little form within Resident Apps, and it generates an email straight to me. I actually have a lot of people reach out that way, so that's pretty handy. Work orders. If you have worn out the 8114 on your phone, you can always go in here and enter your work orders. So you can, if we had an IT request, I sense Travis saying, no, don't show them. You can type in what's going on. You can even give a permission to enter and then submit that directly to IT so that they know what you need. We have a live video feed, which is coming. We were just chatting in the back about some slight hangups we've had in getting the construction camera up, but it should be up soon. Yeah, you were at Village meeting, weren't you? Yeah, so that should be going soon, and you can watch the construction happen, which should be really neat. So you would just use that tile right there. The resident guide, in case you ever need some light bedtime reading. 90 pages for your perusal and enjoyment of all of the rules here. encourage that. Lots and lots of really neat things. I will highlight a few more here. Chaplains have a really neat app. It's actually maintained by residents, which is pretty neat. So if you ever wanted to know more about our chaplains, more about their events, we have all kinds of things within the app here. Videos. If you miss a meeting, typically that was held in here because we had the technology to do it, we will record them and then post them within the videos tile. So definitely things like village meeting are in here. Let's see, I see some foundation things, health services forum, coffee clutch. So, you know, who needs Netflix? Because you've got plenty going on in the videos section. A few more that we have added, and again, maintained by residents. We have a tile specific to the community garden. So if you're looking for notes for the most recent meetings or, you know, what's going on, links and resources, that's all here. So they have some pretty good info there for our gardeners at the village. And then the two others are the Residents Council tile. It used to be within organizations because that's another tile over within here, but they've actually made their own. So there's a lot of good information in here if you have interest. Minutes, lots of things to read. And last but not least, that I wanted to point out is the library tile. Very, very well done, also maintained by the residents. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to, this is similar to Open Table where we have a link that takes you to an external page, but it has their catalog. So you can, again, on your phone, on the go, you can know exactly what's in the library, what's available, and plan your next visit. So it's really, really handy. I know it took a ton of time for them to enter all those books into the system. So highly encourage you to check that out and use it. Good information there. So that's kind of an overview of resident apps and some of the many things you can do. One thing I thought we could consider is, do we have any tips and tricks from folks in the audience? Because I assume that we often use apps very similarly, but I also know that you probably use it in different ways that I don't necessarily think of or say. And I don't know if Travis or Cheryl can grab a mic for me, but I see Jean has a comment. Well, and I was saying, worst case scenario, I can repeat, but I see them going for a mic. So we'll see what tips and tricks we've got out here. Oh, I hear a mic. I see a mic coming your way. They just have to turn it on. Sorry, guys, I kind of sprung that on you. I was anticipating audience participation, but I did not inform everyone else. Sorry. They're just going to turn it on.
Testing.
All right. Here we go, Jean. Thanks, Cheryl.
Sorry, this is not a tip,
Okay.
but I'm wondering why you didn't cover our own internal resident app, and why is it not among all those? What can we do to publicize that?
Do you mean the Facebook group?
Yes.
Yeah, that is not specifically a part of resident apps, but I'm certainly happy to give it a shout out. So if you're on, because I would almost want to do a full session on how you sign up for Facebook, how you find our page, how you find the resident group, and things you can do within it. But I'm going to give you a quick shout out though, for sure. That's a good point. So if you are on Facebook and you follow our Facebook page, and let me say, if you don't, you should. But if you do that, we do have a Friendship Village resident group, and it's a private group. And if you request to join, I review all those names, and I actually use resident apps to verify that you're a resident here if I don't already know your name. And then once you're approved, you can actually be in. We have about 107 residents that are within that group, and it's fun. They share pictures, updates, photos from different events, funny cartoons. It's a neat group. So good point, Jean. I highly encourage you to check that out and let us know if you're not sure how to do that, and we can try to put together a session. I know I've helped several people one-on-one. So, thank you, Jean. Okay, we've got a couple other tips here. I see Paul.
It is on?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you went past the dining services tile. In there, you can make an online comment. Besides having the comment cards that you write out by hand,
true.
you can make a comment about dining, positive or negative or suggestive, right on the resident app.
Yes, good point. Within that dining tile, we looked in right around where the fireside reservations are. Absolutely, they have an electronic comment card. We get a lot of them, so keep that up or start doing it. Thanks, Paul.
Would you walk us through how to make a reservation for Fireside? I found it very difficult. Open Table popped up and our popped up, and every hour that I wanted, it said you have 2.5 hours, and every spot was taken. So I
Yes.
made a physical appearance at the Fireside, and the evening was open. So can you walk us through how to do it?
I can, and I think there's two things I want to cover there. I'm going to absolutely show you how to do that. And the second is that if you can't find a reservation, it may well be that we are just booked out for the number of servers that we have available to work. And I know that's a problem we've talked about for a while, right? That sometimes we don't have enough staff, and so you walk in and there's maybe only 6 tables being served. Sometimes that's limited by our team that we have available to work. But in the interim, absolutely, let me show you how to do that. So you follow that link. You find a table. So I'm going to try to be optimistic here and go really far out so I can hopefully find a table. We open at 4:30. So let's find a table. So those are the options here. So if we're early diners, you might go with 4:45. And then you would enter your first name, your last name, scroll down, and once you do that, it allows you to submit. Oh, whatever. So I won't actually submit this so I don't steal anybody's spot, but am I? Don't know why it won't let me confirm. That's unusual. It might be because you need to sign in. I'm gonna try to take a stab at that. And I do, and this is another one of those, kind of like Facebook, you have to have an account. So I do have an account, so I can sign in on that. Believe it or not, I actually do make Fireside reservations occasionally. So now you see I can confirm reservation. So maybe that's where it was getting stuck, where there's a tiny sign in button at the top. I wish it told you that you have to do that, and that's why it wasn't letting me confirm, but now I can. So that would be how you would do that to make a reservation. I did. At all? Wow, okay. I can check with the team and see if that's a fluke within what they're telling Open Table our availability is, or if, I don't know of us having massive shortages in staff, so that's worth asking if that's a fluke. Thank you for letting me know. Okay.
I'll tell.
Okay, yes.
I am so far low on this that I had trouble talking with the IT lady, so she came to my apartment, and she saw I had trouble even with, she said, I'll fix it for you. What is the name of that thing at the top of the computer where you can then just go to that site and it brings it up?
You bookmark it.
Okay. She will bookmark your app, so you don't have to sign in, you have to do any of that.
Yeah.
I find that helpful.
Absolutely. My computer does the same. I had to make sure I knew my username and password because this isn't my computer. So that's a fair point. If you bookmarking it and having it log you in automatically is very helpful. And if you need help with that, you know who to call. Absolutely. I see, yep, Marjorie, and then we'll come over to Sherry.
I have found making reservations that it works better not to use Open Table, but to use the other in-house reservation form. I've gone on Open Table and they've said the time I want wasn't available. Then when I went on to ours, it was.
Oh, okay.
So.
Technology fails us again. So maybe avoid technology on that, we'll see.
Connie has been doing podcasts.
Yes.
And I found them on the video.
Uh-huh.
Well, she's up to 5 now, and it's really interesting. Some are staff, some are residents.
You're right.
But it'd be nice if people knew it was there.
That's a good point, yeah, because you don't necessarily think about podcasts as videos. So I'm back in videos, and it should be, we call it the Village Voice podcast, but here it is, podcast. So our first episode was with Preble Ware, and then you just, follow that link, and it's in YouTube. So it'll take you over there, and you won't need to log in or anything. Thanks for that, Sherry. We have someone else? Anybody? Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. If you need individual help, see me and we'll try to put you in touch with someone who can help you. It won't be me, but we'll find somebody. Emily, thank you so much.
Of course.
Oh,
See? Cat can do it.
love the cat. Okay, you've probably seen the posters and you've seen the notice in the Villager. They will be having 6 coffees this year, not 12 or not 11. We'll be doing them every other month. So our next coffee will be on March 19th. March 19th. It's the 3rd Thursday of March, May, July, September, and November. Okay? And the speakers are already set, so they're posted as well. Now, we'd like to ask, we're going to do something a little different, and we're going to try this. Our new guests, our new residents, to go down in the corner, that corner down there is sort of the open space, and that's where we're going to have the receiving line rather than up here in the front. So if you could have our new guests, new residents go down there, and then down in that corner, under the last Christmas decoration. Thank you all for coming. We got 3 minutes if anybody has an announcement or anything, but I really appreciate your attendance. This is a great, great turnout. Thank you so much.